Board of Appeals to order. We have a bunch of new members on our board today, and so and we'll go around the table. We know who's here. Do your full name. Just
Ian Delphi.
Yeah.
Harrison Vibrato. Colin Donaldson. Eugene Foley. Carl Hector.
And again, I'm Anthony Tampone. I am chairing this meeting. We have one piece of new business on the agenda, and I will first ask for a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was last year in March. March, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting.
Right.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have a public hearing on our new applicant, Timely Signs. We have the owner Derek Spada for 303 Clinton Avenue. Looks like they are wanting to put up a sign. They're looking for a variance to section 405-17G2, which is the placement of freestanding signs. And I will ask the applicant to come and tell us about what we're doing.
Stand here. So my name is Joe Biker, Timely Signs. I'm representing the folks at Bosch Keegan and Spada. Eric is here today to assist if needed. We are seeking a sign variance, a freestanding sign in the size of 34 inches by 33 inches. Everybody should have a drawing for it now. I have an example of the scale rendering. The current sign code calls for building signs, does not allow for freestanding signs. Just want to make a note that this property did have a freestanding sign in the past. During their logo change, the sign was taken down. In the time that it was down, the sign code was changed. I think what we're presenting here is very much in keeping with the historic nature of Kingston. I also think that it's important to have roadside presence as opposed to just a porch sign because of the location of their office and the fact that they've got a driveway that's turning in. It's set back, the porch is set back. It's also a tricky spot as the road starts to split there on Clinton Avenue. And I think what we're proposing in terms of size and scale is important for direction to get people into the parking lot.
So this is not going, is this going to be in, so the existing sign was like an enter and exit sign there right now. Is that looking to replace one of those signs, or this is in addition to those?
This is in addition to, because it's two-way, there's an enter and an exit. But there was a sign previously on the property that represented the law firm in the past.
Okay.
Probably not something that you've seen, but there was something there.
Yeah, I do remember something being there before. When was that removed?
Eric, what would you say?
Within the past 10 years, more than 5 years.
Oh, okay, but more than a year ago.
More than a year,
Oh, okay.
yeah, more than 5 years.
Yeah.
But the prior sign up there,
If it was there for less than a year, it could affect our, if it was taken down less than a year ago, it could affect our decision, but if it's more than a year ago.
it was more than a year ago.
Yeah, so,
It was during the logo change, COVID had hit, a lot of things got down.
yeah.
Pushed back a little bit. But it is something we've been working on, working with them on for some time. And our feeling is that what we've put together, I think in terms of size and scale, is appropriate for the uptown business district.
This is, are you planning on there's already a sign that looks like this hanging from the porch. Is that planning on staying there, or is it to relocate that to this?
We're planning on leaving the sign up on the porch,
Uh-huh.
and then adding a, sign up front. And this is two properties, they're separate properties,
Yeah.
but then adjoined, so the entrance sign is on my property,
Mhm.
and the exit sign is on the neighboring property,
Mhm.
we share a parking lot in back.
Mhm.
And then, so this sign is gonna go essentially in the middle of those two signs, like in between those two,
Yeah.
near our property border with the adjoining property.
Mhm.
And, I mean, basically, it being in this location with the porch sign, I've noticed that a lot of clients who are coming to the office, especially for the first time,
Mhm.
miss it.
Yeah,
Yeah, even with GPS, they still miss it, and it's hard to turn around.
yeah, you gotta go all the way around the block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more difficult now, especially with the traffic light
Mhm.
at the intersection with John, Clinton, and the road going to Kingston Plaza. So now there's traffic backed up in front of my office.
It's good for business.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Perfect scenario for a rear end accident, right? You know? Yeah. Does anybody on the board have a question that?
Well, I don't think you officially presented, so
Yeah.
if you want to officially open it as a public hearing. And then,
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess we should record a motion for that.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, which means we should, yeah, okay, whatever. We've got the presentation from the applicant. I'll entertain a motion to officially open the public hearing.
motion to officially open the public hearing.
Where's my,
Second.
where's my agenda then? Here.
While they're writing that down, how much further back from the street is that building compared to the rest of the buildings? Like in this photo,
Oh, yeah, that is an appropriate.
that, the law offices are set further back.
Set, absolutely, they're set. I would,
It's about the depth of the porch. So maybe like more than, it's at least 8 feet.
Well,
8.
So one of the things actually we do have to determine is whether or not it's 20 feet from the street or not. Because that is,
The sign or the,
if the building is set back 20 feet or more from the street. So that's a piece of information we're gonna need to determine because that is part of the freestanding sign. I'm assuming that's where you're going.
Yeah, I was, yeah,
I haven't measured it, but I
Yeah.
believe it's at least 20 feet.
I mean,
So we can measure it.
eyeballing it looks like it would be, but it's hard to say, you know?
yeah, with the, what do you call it, where the tree is?
Yeah.
The sidewalks are at least 3 feet
That's,
there.
yeah, that's a
And
4
then you
foot
got
sidewalk.
3 or 4 feet there, and then you got more bushes.
Yeah,
And then technically, the building is not, the porch is a
the porch,
addition,
no, the porch of the building.
is considered a building.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we will need confirmation of that distance. Yeah.
so 20 foot from curb to edge of the porch.
I mean, it says street, it's curb, like, would you say that's a curb?
Sorry, where
Yeah.
the curb comes into the street, but what I would recommend is if you get the measurement from the curb to where the sign is proposed to be placed, and then also the measurement from where the sign is to the structure, so where the structure
Yeah.
is.
And the total, just in
Yeah,
case it's
yeah.
complicated. Yeah. I mean,
Then based on that information, you can potentially look at addressing this as an area variance, and granting it for that specific location as opposed to, it's not quite clear how it is written up here, so we're going to be discussing with the ZEO, how we can potentially review this. It's kind of written up as though it's a use variance, and we have had some issues with our code pertaining to these freestanding signs and whether a use variance is necessary or whether an area variance is adequate. Basically saying, getting variance from the location of property to, as long as it then meets the other freestanding sign requirements. I don't know, you've been here several times before, so you may know the difference in bar for an area variance as opposed to a use variance. So it'd probably be in your client's favor to have it considered as an area variance.
That being said, does anybody else have any other questions?
You said to measure the distance from the street to the sign to the structure. Are
Yeah.
you concerned with the measurement to the post or the actual sign itself that comes off the post?
I mean, the placement, I think, although the code, actually, the code doesn't actually specify the placement of the sign, to my knowledge. It simply says that it would only be allowed if the building is set back at least 20 feet from the street. So, whatever information any of you are interested in seeing, we can have, if we have to give it an area variance in order to do this, ask that question, it's fine. Visually speaking, the placement in this, my opinion is that if we just find a way to move forward with this, then like visually how the sign is laid out in this image is appropriate to me,
I do have one concern about
Yeah,
that,
please.
though. I mean, at least on the freestanding sign side B, you can see that, from this perspective, I don't know if it's just how it's plotted, but it is blocking, the viewpoint to the Senate House sign, which is a sign that's for public use. So for creating a variance, I'd say there shouldn't be obstruction of sight there, no?
Yeah, I guess the one thing we might want to, well, you know what, I think that,
I think if you were up there, you would see it's not blocked.
Yeah.
That's why I'm.
Doesn't have signs of humans and,
yeah.
and it's so much further down the road. that-
I think it's blocking it from that perspective in the photo, because that's like right.
On the
right-
sidewalk.
Well, that's actually like on our front porch.
You're not actually on the sidewalk in this
That's,
photo.
it's either off the sidewalk, like on
Yeah,
our front lawn.
yeah, you're kind of
But
in
if
the lawn.
you're on the street or a sidewalk, you'll definitely see the Senate House.
And it's, like, to your point, the Senate House sign's a little bit higher. It's a perspective thing. And I think what we can do is if we take a photograph, we can highlight distance from the road to the edge of the sign,
Mhm.
distance to the pole, distance to the, we'll highlight everything in terms of give you all those measurements, those critical measurements for you to determine what the distance is from the sidewalk to the sign.
Mhm.
Just to give you understanding in terms of scale. And it's always difficult to put something in to scale. So
Yeah.
I apologize for that. The technology is fantastic, but it has some limitations.
No, of course, I mean, that would be my only concern, yeah.
So one of the things that we're going to need, as Matt was mentioning, is there's how this applies is like still a little bit unclear as we're still working through a relatively new code here. We don't have a written determination from the zoning enforcement officer. So what I would like to do is we'll have the board request a written determination from the zoning enforcement officer. Whether or not it's considering this a variance of use or a variance of area, and which changes the way that we can proceed here.
Is that for the code enforcement officer to determine, or is that for us to ask?
So,
Yeah, technically, he should be the one when you submit the application, who says, this is what's needed, this is what you should be asking for from the ZBA.
Okay.
And then he should have it so that the ZBA can say, and the ZBA can say, okay, well, we think, only, this much of, they don't have to go with what the zoning enforcement officer specifically states, but they need it as a starting basis.
yeah, our job is basically to say, right, like you're applying, saying that you disagree with what the zoning enforcement officer says, and our job is to say whether or not the zoning enforcement officer is correct, or we should allow you to, or change that determination, or there's a reason why that determination is restrictive and like you should be allowed, even though that is correct based on requirements of New York State law. If it's all hard for us to do that if we don't actually know the exact determination of the zoning enforcement officer. So we're going to request a specific written determination from him.
I think that the current sign code as it's written has put you guys in a very difficult.
I agreed, and the city is working on clarifying this a little bit. Unfortunately, you know how that takes a little while. I'm confident that there will be clarification in this in the near future. I don't know when exactly that's gonna happen. Yeah, there is, this is not the clearest way, and we changed a lot of things a few years ago here, and most of it's really, really great, and there are some things where there's some growing pains on it, so, you know, yeah. Should we make a motion to ask Eric for, or that can be the problem? Yeah.
Yeah, no, you just direct the secretary
Yeah.
to notify the CEO that we want.
Amy, could you ask Eric to give us a written determination on this particular?
I actually drove by there, I was gonna stop in today, so I find out why, what was the no for? And I said.
I actually saw him driving by me the other day, and I was gonna wave him down, but. Yeah, all right, if we don't have any other questions, everybody else feel okay? What I'd like to do is, have a motion to table this for now. We will get, the answer from Eric. Technically, we'll leave the public hearing open, and then next meeting, we'll have a little bit of clarification. We'll have the stuff from Eric, and we'll be able to know what path we can go down to clean this up.
So then you would just say you're entertaining a motion to leave the public hearing open to get more information from the zoning enforcement officer and the Metron measurements from you.
Yeah. So I entertain a motion to table this while we leave the public hearing open.
I'll make a motion to table this until next.
I'll second it.
Sorry. And, all right, so, all in favor? All right. You're gonna get us measurements, Eric will get us, some,
Determination of this area for use.
a written determination on why he thinks this is not allowed.
Yeah, and just CC me on the email. I'm sure Eric's gonna be reaching out to me to discuss it.
Yeah. All right, that being said, we have no more, business, and motion to adjourn.
Thank you, guys. I'll make a motion.
All right,
There we go.
and,
I'll second.
all right, there you go. And there's things we gotta do, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, everyone, welcome everyone that's new here.